See if we can get this one. Perfect. Alright, here we are at West Point, Tennessee today. Just going to kind of be riding around, giving I guess we'll call it a review of a little KLX140L while I wait on some buddies to get here. See, I've had this bike for 2 hours of run time now, dead on 2 hours, and done a few upgrades to it. Pretty happy with it, and so if you're looking to get one, know that here's what you'll be getting. Your 144 cc's of displacement, 4-stroke dual overhead cam. You got disc brakes front and rear. You got aluminum wheels, same aluminum wheels pretty much that are on the KX100, so it's got that going for it. You got a fully adjustable rear shock, which is pretty uncommon on an air-cooled trail bike. It's got 4-way compression adjustment, preload adjustment, and you also get dampening. I think 22-way rebound dampening adjustment. On the front, you get absolutely no adjustment, and it is pretty soft. Now, I do have the BBR front suspension, and on the rear I've simply cranked down the preload to get the sag a little on the stiff side for my weight, but to get the sag I ain't cranked it all the way, but to try to get the sag as close to that 2 inches as I can, which is the number I always use growing up, trying to set it at on MX bikes. And then I never actually achieved that. I probably could achieve it if I cranked the preload all the way, but I'm not going to go all the way with it. And then with the preload cranked as much as it is, I just adjusted the rebound dampening to try to help slow that rear wheel down on its rebound, because you've got the luxury of adjusting that on this bike. You got the compression setting as stiff as it'll go. And it's worth noting I'm about 160 pounds. I've got bar risers from Tusk. I weigh, like I said, 160, and for the bar risers, I'm 5'7". The bike's got plenty of oomph for general trail riding. The reason I got the L and not the G, so my wife could ride it. She's a little shorter than me and hasn't been riding nearly her whole life. But at the same time, the L is big enough to be, in my opinion, the perfect play bike and the perfect all-around bike. If you needed a bike to keep around, just so anybody could ride it, friends, family, cousins, nieces, nephews that aren't just, you know, young kids, but adolescent teens. The 140L I feel like is perfect mix between giving you the adjustment you want as an adult to just be able to ride it and play around on it, while at the same time being docile enough for, like I said, just about anybody that's not just a complete child, you know, adolescent, teen, or older, around that probably 5'2" mark or bigger. You know, they can be comfortable riding it. Clutch pull is extremely light, and I know they say it's got what they call a 2-stage engagement, which means nothing to me. But with the bike having the aluminum wheels, you can feel pretty safe about pushing it pretty hard on a backyard track, or, you know, off in the woods trail riding it like I'm doing right now. Obviously I'm running some hand guards on here, and then what you can't see is I am running a Ricochet aluminum skid plate, which I would definitely recommend for any kind of riding like this, for rocky, deep ruts. It would be really easy to screw around and bash the bottom of the engine. I would like to point out, though, this engine does have good coverage from the factory. There's no skid plate, but the frame has got these 2 tabs or ears that are on each side that help come out and protect the cases. And so from the factory, the protection isn't necessarily non-existent, but it could be better, which is why I've went with the Ricochet skid plate. The bike doesn't have a very large fuel tank, but let's be honest, it doesn't need it. It's a 140 and it's tuned very lean, jetted very lean from the factory, so you're not just burning through gas at crazy amounts. The bike also is one of the only bikes in the what I'll call play bike lineup, which is just beginners bikes, you know, air-cooled trail bikes for younger adults and teens. It's the only one in the lineup, to my knowledge, that has a fully cradled engine frame design. You know, the TTR, I don't know if it still does, but I know for years and years the engine was a stress member in the frame. Same goes for bikes like the XR80, XR100, which is now the CRF line, and I think the CRF 125 still has that engine as a stress member of the frame, which is fine for kids. But if you're an aggressive riding kid, or if you're an adult and you're just using it as a play bike, that is not ideal. It's actually far from ideal. And the KLX140, all 3 models use the same main frame, just different subframes and swing arms and different front forks. And all of them have the same fully cradled engine frame design, which, like I said, is ideal. And it is a box perimeter frame, steel box perimeter frame, so it's got some flex to it. If you start pushing the bike really hard, you may notice it. I'm not really good enough rider to notice things like frame flex, but the only downfall to the bike is with its jetting. It does have a Slot Off Idle Bog, but let's be honest, every carbureted bike that you buy new today is going to be that way, most likely, because they will not let you adjust the air fuel mixture screw. You got to drill out a little brass plug to be able to do that, which is not a big deal. And then they have everything jetted so lean to meet emissions these days and to be green sticker for all 50 states because California sucks. So yeah, like I said, everything you get is going to be jetted real lean. But yeah, the bike is fantastic for what it is. It's no MXer. It's no woods race bike, although you can woods race it, and I intend to do a couple little woods races on it. There's a good slew of aftermarket performance parts, that being the BBR 170 big bore. At some point in time, somebody was offering a 160 big bore, I believe. I don't know if that's still a thing. And I think someone offers, it may be that 160 kit is just a piston kit, so you use the stock bore. And none of those kits, if you're looking to up the power, none of those kits require you to drill out the case in the bottom end to fit them. And then I think people upgrade to like a 28 millimeter Makuni to get a little more power out of it. I don't feel the bike needs any more power for what it is. I'm not wanting to rag tag the engine out. I just like doing some trail riding. Besides, with the BBR suspension, I may end up going to the rear BBR rear shock spring because I'm kind of pushing the upper end of the weight limit of the stock spring, but so far I'm happy with it. As you can see in this video, I haven't been bombing this trail like wide open, but I haven't came close to bottoming out the suspension front or rear. And one thing I haven't mentioned is the weight of the bike. The L, 208 pounds. The G, I think it's like 213, maybe it was 218. Obviously, it's got larger wheels and a longer swing arm, and a slightly different design on the front forks, I do believe. And the regular 140, I have no idea what it weighs, but I'm going to go with probably 200 to 204 pounds, something like that. So yeah, great bikes. If you're going to get one, I recommend you splurge and at least get the L. That way you get the adjustable rear shock. If you have any questions regarding my thoughts or opinions, if you have some thoughts or opinions of your own, leave a comment. I'll try to get back with you. We can have a discussion about it. So until next time, just keep riding and having fun. It doesn't really matter what you ride as long as you're doing those two things. Probably shouldn't be doing this up here alone, but I guess no guts, no glory, something like that.